It tells the story of the last queen of Tiwanaku. Her father was king, but she was lost and raised by a warrior. She became queen after a shaman named Tunupa discovered her royal heritage.
Tunupa is another name for Viracocha, their god of creation.
The shaman brought her to Lake Titicaca, where she borrowed his staff, an object of great power.
According to myth, Viracocha originally lived in the lake.
The god of indoor plumbing.
She led her people into an era of peace. After many years of wise and just rule, there was some sort of power struggle. She died shortly thereafter, and she was carried off in a boat to paradise.
Remind you of something?
The King Arthur myth, yes. The similarities are striking.
King Arthur? Little help here?
It's the same story. A youth, unaware of his royal blood, rises from obscurity to become a wise king with the help of a friendly wizard and his magical staff or sword, and afterwards he's transported to paradise. The Queen's shaman, a dais with a sword set into it, or in this case, Viracocha's staff. This is it.
Do you believe it's the same one we saw in Tiwanaku?
There's more than just one dais, but possibly.
So the shaman would be Merlin, and the staff would be whatever the hell King Arthur's sword was called.
It's called coincidence.
Funny name for a sword.
It's hot!
It's a shield, 10th or 11th century, probably recovered with the piece we're looking for. It resembles Lancelot's crest, doesn't it?
It would have if banner had existed.
There seems to be a fine line between coincidence and irony.
You sure about that map?
Unfortunately, there was some nonsense about the discovery of the real King Arthur's tomb here years ago, soon discredited. And yet another roadside attraction was born.
Well, let's see what we can see, shall we? At least it should be educational. Now this is familiar enough. No King of England jokes, Alister. I probably have to turn on the power first. This place has seen better days.
It's been condemned since the death of the owner, one Professor Worth. I shudder to think that at one time he had students.
And we have power.
Hey, now that the power's on, maybe you can go back and pull out Excalibur.
It's not Excalibur! The sword and the stone and Excalibur were two different bloody swords! Arthur got Excalibur after the sword and the stone broke in his battle with Pellinor! Oh, good grief, nobody gets it straight!
That's because nobody cares.
Boys.
Sorry.
Come ye hither and hearken to me tale of King Arthur, how he was reared by Sir Ector, but born, yea verily, of ye loins of King Arthur Pendragon, unbeknownst to all save Merlin. How ye wondrous wizard Merlin did bringeth ye boy Arthur to ye sword and ye stone, which no man has been able to lifteth. How Arthur did then taketh ye sword, thusly becoming King of England. Thou too may attempteth to pull yon sword from yon stone, but wilt Merlin find thee kingly enough to enter, the true King Arthur
no difference between stupid and charming with you, is there?
Thus didst King Arthur gather round his person ye greatest knights of ye realm, that they might be paragons of chivalry and virtue. Gaily they cam'st, yea, and 'twas an assembly as hadst naught before been seeneth, and verily there was much rejoicing.
Hey, push the button again. It's like electroshock therapy for Alister here.
I like to think it keeps him sharp.
So that there would be no squabbling betwixt ye knights, Merlin bequeathed upon Arthur yon round table, which was a table neither square nor buttressed, but circular in form. 'Twas a symbol of unity and equality, and 'twas from whither Arthur's knights took their name, the Knights of the Round Table.
I'm assuming you're taking notes.
Yeah, verily.
Behold ye Holy Grail! Such a vision of yon cup of Christ didst verily appeareth to Arthur and his knights, whereupon several amongst them didst quest for to find it anon. And they 'twere four, Lancelot, Galahad, Percival, and Bors. And yonder they journeyed, none e'er returning, though Galahad did see the Grail, and yea, his heart was gladdened muchly.
How did they know he found it if he didn't return? Exactly.
And what of Excalibur, ye mighty sword of legend? 'Twas Merlin who didst bringeth Arthur to yon magical lake, wherein didst dwell ye Lady of the Lake. And from her hand didst Arthur take Excalibur, and yea, ye sword couldst ne'er be broken, for 'twas its magic.
I'm confused. Weren't Excalibur and the Sword in the Stone the same thing? They were two bloody different swords!
Now, Zip. That was too easy.
Then didst Merlin fall in love with Nimue, to whom he didst teacheth his magics. But ere long she didst use her magics against her lover, imprisoning him. Wherefore it was that when Arthur didst do battle with Mordred, Merlin couldst not protecteth him. It seemeth that oft times ye wisest of men canst maketh mistakes.
It was his own fault, really.
Never trust a woman?
Don't believe in magic.
For hours did Arthur and Mordred hackle upon Salisbury Plain. Arthur with Excalibur, Mordred with its scabbard. Then it was that both were disarmed, and Arthur did strike Mordred a fatal blow with his spear to Bedivere. Anon came more tragedy, for Arthur was himself mortally wounded in ye battle, and yea, yon sky did darken.
There's a logical explanation for that. It's called evening.
You're so literal, Alister. Archaeology is half metaphor, you know.
Before he did die, Arthur badest his knight Bedivere to returneth Excalibur to yon Lady of ye Lake. And lo, didst Arthur's body then slumber, and yea, it was borne away to Avalon, where it is said that from thither shall he someday returneth, to claimeth again his crown.
Well, if he went to Avalon, then whose tomb's supposed to be here?
Maybe the grunting Saxon or the Roman fascist that Alister believes the whole legend was built around. This is where the truth behind the myth is supposed to be explained. It has been turned into a warehouse.
Fitting. There's been so little truth everywhere else, why start here? The only factual basis behind the King Arthur myths died centuries before this place was built.
Give Professor Worth some credit. If he had to close an exhibit for renovations, at least he picked the most boring one. This must be our kindly professor's office space,
Done up as spottily as his reputation.
said the pot to the kettle. Professor Worth says here that the tomb of King Arthur, the one his museum's built over, is a fake.
No surprise there. At least he knows his museum is for tourists.
But Professor Worth believed the sarcophagus was placed here by Arthur's contemporaries to lure thieves from the gravesite of the actual King Arthur.
Who doesn't exist?
That's where you and the professor differ. This definitely isn't Arthur's tomb.
We knew that already. What's wrong with it?
I've seen enough tombs in my life to cenotaph. Now this is better.
Nice. Be careful. You don't want to demolish anything important.
Really, Alister, I have a velveteen touch. But I'm glad to see you now think there may be something important here.
Signal's poor, Lara. What are we looking at?
We're looking at myth, except it's real. They're all here. The court of Camelot.
You're sure about this? King Arthur, who wast verily of ye loins of Uther Pendragon?
I've no doubt about the authenticity of this tomb, Alister. Arthur was the 11th century figure that became legend. The once and future king was as real then as the air I'm breathing now.
I don't know, Laura.
Excalibur, the sword in the stone. That's how it always goes, isn't it?
Pardon?
Swords in stones, Alister. They're part of the monomyth. There wasn't just one Excalibur or one Merlin. We keep seeing swords and daises all over the world because they were everywhere.
So, you're saying that everywhere they went, they raised up kings, shaping the course of human destiny?
Well, it's a possibility.
Who? And what happened to them and their swords?
Perhaps they're in Avalon. It's as good a place as any. Except our Merlin was killed and our Excalibur was left in pieces in the hands of the locals.
So where's Avalon?
I don't know. On the other side of the looking glass, perhaps? It says Bedivere returned a fragment of Excalibur to Arthur after the other pieces were carried off by the knights.
Where'd they go? To find Avalon, perhaps. The quest for the Holy Grail. Lancelot, Galahad, Percival, and Bors. Their tombs are empty.
It says this fragment was left with Arthur to help him leave this mausoleum when the time came. Perhaps it will help me instead.